Hey friends, welcome back to our quick credit series. Today we're pulling back the curtain on your credit score stuff. What actually makes the number move? To answer that, I have to finish the story that illustrates two major factors. So in 2023, Alhamdulillah, I paid off my student loan debt. Okay, completely with my tax refund. Obviously that's the most important thing that you can do. So my student loan, it was was for the nailnet, or they were my whatever handlers or whatnot. Handler sounds like a drug stuff. So the student loan was my oldest credit history, a key factor for a good score. Okay, now here's the crazy truth about the system. My score took a small temporary dip right after I paid off the loan. Why? The simple answer is that when you pay off an installment loan like the student loan or a car loan, two things happen. Number one, it removes a great active payment history from your file. Number two, it changes your credit mix. Having both installment debt loans and revolving debt credit cards help your score. Losing the loan reduces that mix, right? The hit is always temporary, but it shows how sensitive the system is and how rigged it is, as I mentioned in the first episode. Now, once that loan was gone, my oldest account became my first credit card, which was with FMBO from that job that I had. Now, this brings us to the most important lesson today and my personal strategy from 2021. By that time, I had like two cards with limits. So by that time, I had two credit limits. FMBO, which was 2,500, and the in-store furniture credit card, brand source, which was 3,500, giving me a total of 6,000. Now, rewind back to episode 2, we talked about credit utilization, which makes up to 30% of your score. The golden rule is to keep the usage below 30% or even better 10%. If I were to use half of my 6,000 credit limit, say 3,000, my utilization would have been 50%. That is a huge red flag and would crush my score. I wanted to prevent that risk and create a massive headroom. So in 2021, I intentionally went through a phase of applying for new credit cards all at once to increase my total available credit. Okay, so yes, that meant I was taking a deliberate hit on multiple hard inquiries, which we discussed in episode 3, but my goal was to get the process over with and let the score recover later, knowing the long-term benefits would be massive. Now, I recommend it, but that's what I did. Here's what happened now in that short spree. Now, Apple Card approved me for 4,000, Discover approved me for 5,000, American Express approved me for 2,000, American National Bank was about 2,500, Capital One approved me for a disappointing $500. I canceled this one right after a month because it wasn't really worth the effort and the limit was too low to be useful for my strategy. It did help, but I didn't really care for it. So in that 1 month, I went from a total credit limit of 6,000 to over 2,100, I think, or close to that, somewhere along those lines. I think I'm missing other credit cards, but it was about 20,000 in total. So why was this strategic even with the hard inquiries? So if I spend the same 3,000, my old limit, which was like, the FMBO and the brand source was about 6,000. That would have been 50% utilization because I'm using 3,000 of my 6,000 credit limit. The new limit, if I were to use 30%, if I was to use 3,000 from that 20,000 credit limit, right, it would be about 15% utilization. So that's excellent. This change instantly puts me in the green zone, you can say, for the single most important part of my score, credit utilization. 30% of your score, okay? The lower the usage, the better. My goal was to be below 10%. Plus, having these new cards means I could start requesting credit limit increases later. With banks like American Express, FMBO, Discover, these requests are often soft pull, no hard inquiry, and often grant instant increase, right? This is how I can continue to increase my credit limit without taking constant hard inquiry hits or applying for new cards consistently or continuously. So my strategy was calculated. Take a temporary hit from a few hard inquiries to gain permanent higher available credit. This shields my score from high utilization, which is the most common mistake people make. By opening these accounts, I also positively influenced another factor, which is the credit mix and the new credit, 10% each. In our next episode, we're going to dive deeper into the two most important factors, payment history, the largest factor, and then break down exactly how and when to ask for credit limit increases to continue growing your credit power responsibly. If you love this episode, be sure to like, comment. If it's on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. What is your all of your credit cards combined, basically, credit limit right now. I'll see you in the next episode. Until next time, assalamu alaikum.